Hi there. Welcome, She Days. Here, it's all about chatting like we're at home, cozy, with a cup of tea. I'm Days, and each time I bring in amazing guests from all over the world. Real, inspiring, and multilingual conversations are waiting for you. So grab a comfy spot and let's get started with a new episode. Hi. Welcome back to a new episode of Shade Days. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm happy to have you back. This time I'll be alone. It'll be like a solo episode. Just because I felt like sharing a train of thoughts with you and because I am also curious to talk with you and see what you guys think. Maybe you've had the same questions before. I don't know. Just felt like sharing. What I really want to share with you guys today is the place. So it's like a very like big, and I feel the topic is kind of like dense. Yeah, like there's a lot to say about it. But let me just get into the conversation right away. So if you guys don't know, I am French. I was born and grew up in Paris. So for me, Thanksgiving is not part of my culture. However, I've been celebrating Thanksgiving for about 15 years, I think, probably more. I have no idea exactly, and I don't know where it came from. I don't know, but I just felt and still feel that it's actually really good to have a day where you intentionally think about those things you're grateful for. And for me, it's just like a second Christmas where you have all your beloved people. We just sit there at the table, eating delicious food. We just share, like we're just together, and it's really like a date. My people know Thanksgiving is important. Wherever they are in the world, they can join. There's enough food for an army, and it's just always a good time. And during the Thanksgiving celebration, I like to keep the tradition of saying why we're thankful for. And something that I have kept saying for the last years is that I'm thankful for my people. It's not very original, but it's always what comes to mind. And although I really meant it, I think for a long time I wasn't really fully realizing what it actually meant. Because I grew up in a village. Yeah. So there is this one village I was born into, the one I grew up in, the people that have been accompanying me since I was born. And there is also another village that I've built over time. And I have to say, in those villages, I have a healthy circle of people. It is not perfect, but it is healthy. I feel there are like people I can talk to, laugh with, share things with. It's just people I can be around. And sometimes I picture it like a table, like a big table with chairs, and everyone has their own chair. And in the moments when I feel okay, I know there is a chair for me. I know it exists. I know my name is on it. And somehow that's my place. But of course, that is in moments when I feel okay. Because the truth is, for a very long time, and even now, sometimes I struggle with that. I struggle with finding my place, taking my place, even taking up space. And I doubt myself a lot. I often wonder, am I legitimate? Am I out of place? Am I doing too much or not enough? And I think part of it comes from the fact that I don't always know what my place is. So this whole conversation, it's just like a big it's like a big picture, like a big puzzle with different elements and different pieces that you just get together, and then you have like a bigger picture. So bear with me. I will give you like a lot of different situations or examples that I've experienced, which led me to this reflection. A few months ago, I was in Spain at my family's place, and it's a trip I've been meaning to take for a long time because I knew for my own personal development, it would help a lot. It will help me put things in their place. Somehow I knew it would, bring things up, and I knew it before I even went. And I went, and it did. At some point, I was like talking to two of my family members, and we were talking about one of my uncle. And I heard myself say something I had never really realized before. I told them that I only understood very, very late, very late in my life, that my uncle loves me and cares about me deeply. And not because I'm part of his family or because we're related, but really just because of me. And the worst thing is, nothing had changed. He had always been there, always present, always showing his love through actions. The only thing that was different is he didn't really say it. And I only realized it when he put it into words. Because for me, it meant he wasn't doing all those things because we were, quote unquote, just related, but really because of our relationship, because of me. And it made me realize something, first of all, how much words matter to me. Because I grew up around people who don't lie. I mean, we're all humans, right? So everybody lies, like white lies or something, but it's not something like vicious, like something in their personality, So when they speak, it is real, but they don't always speak a lot. They show up, they act, and they don't always say things. And it made me realize that sometimes I needed both. Because in this situation, this concrete situation, without the words, or before the words, it took me years to see what had always been there. It's a bit sad when you think about it, right? But I mean, no, we all have our like aha moments. But so this was like the first part of this realization, of this epiphany. And then a few days later, I was still like in Spain. So this family member I was with was on the phone with another family member who was not with us in Spain, and they were laughing about my realization. Somehow they were really like with a lot of love, a bit teasing me, a bit like, yeah, laughing about the situation. And for them, it was obvious. For them, it was obvious that I had these patterns, these sensitivities. And somehow, it kind of shook me because I realized that people around me can see things about me that I don't always see myself. And that maybe my struggle with finding my place is not invisible. And it made me think how much space this takes in my life. Maybe it's something that stays, not something that disappears, but something that somehow evolves. Because today, in very simple situations, I still catch myself asking the same questions. I remember something very small. I was like at a place where I was supposed to do an internship. I wasn't part of the team, like not officially yet, yeah? But I was there. There was like an event, and I was there helping, participating, talking to people. And at some point I thought, what exactly is my place here? Do I even belong? Am I overstepping? Am I taking too much space? When in reality, I was just helping. So after a while, I remember thinking, why does it have to be this complicated? Because at the same time, when I go back to my village, I can clearly see that my place exists. It's there. But having a place doesn't necessarily mean feeling legitimate in it. And I think I experienced that very clearly without realizing it. Let me give you another example. A long time ago, I moved to a city in Germany where I stayed for a year. And I met someone there, and this person became my brother. Literally. This guy adopted me truly. At that time, I have to say I was extremely shy. So I've always been an introvert, quite reserved. But at that time, it was, I don't know, 10,000 times more. I barely spoke. I even sometimes had some type of social anxiety. And I hardly said anything. Most of the time because I had nothing to say, and I don't have a problem with silence. So my point has always been, well, if I don't have anything important to say, there's no point in speaking. So most of the time I stayed quiet. On top of that, so this friend of mine, he's from Argentina, and because I was learning German at the time, I felt my Spanish was blocked somewhere in my brain. I don't know if you guys have experienced that, like you're learning a new language and somehow, even sometimes your mother language is blocked, you missing on words and you just, it's just a huge mess in the brain. It's literally what happened at that time. So even with Spanish, which is a language I grew up with, I was blocked. So I was just there with a very few words. And he just accepted me like that. We would go to class together. He would call me when he went out. He included me, really. He really took me under his wings. And that never changed. So now we're talking, I think it's like a friendship of about 14 years, 15 or 14 years. And that never changed, even today. And sometimes I think, but what do I even bring to the table? Because I know I am fully aware of what he brings into my life. Support, presence, consistency, a kind of love that feels very stable. And for some reason, it's one of the very rare relationships where I don't doubt. And for someone like me who struggles with doubt, who fears being replaced or abandoned, that is huge. Even now, I can be in a room with him, with his family, not saying much, just being there, and that's enough. I am included. I have a place. And it doesn't depend on what I say or what I do or what I bring. And I think that taught me something really, really important. That having a place is not always connected to performance. Sometimes it simply exists because you live, because you exist. And I don't think that this only applies to human relationships. Because in my own journey, there's also a spiritual dimension. And that's something I have to learn and relearn constantly. The idea that God loves me and the place that I have with him does not depend on what I do. Really, like this idea of like not performing to get his love is like the motto of like this year. I really felt at the beginning of the year that God was like taking me, pushing me to grow in that. Because since then, and since I'm aware of it, some things just pop into my life as a constant reminder. And finding, as my friend Shika told me, to find peace and rest into his love is like, it's amazing. So the idea that God's love for me and the place that I have with him does not depend on what I do. Because it's really easy for me to fall back into performance and to think, oh, I didn't pray today, I didn't read my Bible, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, I deserve less, I'm further away, I need to do more. But really, if I stop for a second, grace by definition is not something you earn. It's God's love, it's unconditional. Yeah? And I feel, so I'm not an expert of the Bible, but I really have like a couple of like verses that stay with me. And one of them is like 1 Corinthians chapter 13. A love that does not keep score, that endures, and a love that isn't based on performance. And if I'm being honest with you, I feel like this challenges my way of thinking. Because if I look at my mistakes, my thoughts, my flaws, then logically, I would never deserve that love. And yet it's there. So that means that this place is given and not earned. And this also connects to identity, because in the Christian faith, there is an idea of becoming a new creation. That means it's not fixed. There is always a possibility to begin again, to come back, and to realign. So maybe finding your place is not about reaching something once and for all, but it's more about coming back again and again to something that was already there. So, what does it really mean to find your place? Is it having a seat at the table? Is it feeling accepted? Is it being yourself? Honestly, guys, I don't have a clear answer. But what I do know is that the need to belong, the need to have a place is a fundamental human need. Like in the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And maybe the fact that it's such a fundamental need explains why the question never really goes away. And maybe there isn't just one way to find your place. There are probably many ways. There are probably actually as many ways as there are people. And maybe, maybe we don't always need to find it, but sometimes simply recognize that it's already there. As just taking it for granted somehow? I don't know. It was just a reflection on this topic. Yeah. I would really be interested in like knowing, hearing, reading what you guys think about the topic. Please comment the episode on the different platforms you're listening it. Come on Instagram at Shadays and come and comment and rate the episode if you liked it. You can also share and please let me know what you have to say about this episode. Thank you if you stayed with me until now. Thank you for bearing with me. I'll have to say goodbye now, and I'm looking forward to see you in a new episode of She Days. Ciao, ciao.